Emma of the Emmachenn channel. Welcome back. It's good to see you as always. Today I'm going to be continuing my clean and tidy series, as I like to call it. Really what it is me talking about my business, what inspired me to start it, how I started it, how I legally keep my name as an entity, and how to run a business in general. I know it was a requested theme from friends and family who are interested in this kind of topic, and so I'm going to go ahead and get into a little bit of how to do all the business stuff today. Today is going to be just the basics, business 101, baby. Before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe throughout the video. I would love to see you weekly, and I would love to hear your feedback. If you have any suggestions or advice to leave in the comments for people who are looking to start their own video, or if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'd love to answer them for you. For reference, I'm going to be talking about most things in Arizona, because that's the state that I live in and have a registered business in. But this video is actually going to just be about anybody, any country, anything, just business foundational things that you need. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it now. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do as somebody who's looking to start their own business, or somebody who is already starting their own business, is having a product or service to market. So or to offer, and it should be something that is it doesn't have to be unique, but something that is needed or people didn't know they needed it. In my instance, I have a tale as old as time. I have a cleaning business, Clean and Tidy LLC. So what I do is I go to residential and commercial places and I clean. I mostly clean residentially because I am not much of a commercial cleaner. I can do it. Like if a church or an office said, can you come vacuum twice a week, I could do it. But mostly I'm going to help out individuals and their families. People will hire me to take care of like their grandparents' home, that kind of deal, or have me come for weekly cleans to maintain a certain level of cleanliness in their home, that kind of deal. So for my instance, I have cleaning. I market cleaning, and I also market organizational help. So I'm not a professional organizer necessarily. I do it as a profession, but I'm not certified in anything. But when I show up for those kind of appointments, I help people go through their clothing, their items. I help them take things to Goodwill. I help them make decisions. I help them take all their furniture out of their house and put it back in. So that's another option that I have for services. So I market myself as both an organizational help specialist and a cleaning specialist. So make sure that you have something that you can market, whether it be a retail good or if it's a retail service. So if you are selling baked goods, make sure that you're good at that and you like doing that, because if you're going to make a business out of it, you're going to be doing it all the time. The same thing with like lashes, for example. Make sure that you have a reliable source for those lashes, or you're making them and it's not going to be too cumbersome for you to take on more clients as that comes. Just make sure you're having fun. That's the main thing. I mean, what's the point in working for yourself if you don't even like what you're doing for yourself, right? I mean, we work to make money. Ultimately, that's what we do. That's what we're here on the planet to do right now in this space and time. Before it was to be like a little monkey on a rock and survive, and now it's make money so we can survive. At least we don't have to fight jaguars, right? So make sure it's something that you like, though, because if you hate doing it, it's almost as if you're working for somebody else who you don't like either. So make sure it's something that you like. Before you do anything legally and you sign anything illegally, you're going to want to make sure that you do have people at least interested in this marketed good or service. You can make a business without registering as a business legally, but I highly recommend registering legally as a business because it comes with so many legal protections for you as an individual. The reason why I have Clean and Tidy LLC and not just Clean and Tidy as me, Emma, is because it takes a lot of liability off of me as an individual who is cleaning for other people. So make sure that you have some semblance of a following or a group of people who purchase from you, regulars, or you have at least the knowledge on how to market yourself, whether that be through social media, canvassing, flyers, mail outs, any of those things. You're going to want to make sure that you have a ground to stand on before you start, because once you start, there's a lot of random costs that come up along the way, and it gets a little stressful. So if you've ever worked for a company and you're like, why aren't you marketing? It's because it's kind of expensive and not guaranteed. So if you already have a clientele base, that's already a great start, just a great place to start. But if you need to build it up now before you get started, especially if you're registering legally as a entity, because it is something else. It's a little complicated is what it is. And then we're going to go on to the next point. You're going to want to ensure that this is going to make you income, because once you start, it's not hard to dissolve a business, but you're not going to want to if you like what you do. So make sure that this income is guaranteed. Have strategies. That's my second point, but second point to this, make sure you have a strategy in the event of a pandemic, an emergency, an illness, a sickness. That way you can continue to have that flow of income. I like to say, if you're not planning for employees, what are you planning for? So whether or not you're hiring family members or friends or strangers, you're going to want to plan to hire somebody at some point to help you with this business, because you're going to get to a point where you get the flu for 2 weeks, and then what are you going to do? I mean, you can have an emergency fund and you can write into your business clause like, I will pay myself in the event that I'm sick, but you're going to want to have that backup too. And then additionally, you're going to want to make sure that your business is going to withstand societal emergencies, war, famine, pandemic. In the event of cleaning, most people are going to need cleaning no matter what's going on. Some people who are middle class or lower are not going to be able to afford my services, but there's always going to be people who are upper middle class and above who are going to be like, let's keep those cleanings coming, come on. So that's where I feel confident in cleaning. So if you're working in a retail situation and you're selling a product, really reflect on what other things that you can add to this business that are going to make you float through those situations, because the second inflation hits, people drop like flies. So make sure that you have a solid source of income, and make sure that once your business is able to, you start investing, so that money keeps coming. And then I'm going to get into that point that I went into before, strategize. So you're going to want to plan ahead. So what do you see for your business in the next 5 to 10 years? Are you looking to expand? Are you looking to stay small? Are you looking to only do this for a few years and then maybe do something else? Are you looking to change the world and be the next Jeff Bezos? It really just depends. You're going to have to make a plan for that. So what are you selling? How are you marketing it? Who's your clientele? What are you going to do in the event of an emergency? How many employees do you hope to have? Do you hope to have an office? Do you want to have your employees have cars that drive for your service? Do you want a new manufacturer for the products? Do you want to own the manufacturer for the products that you make? That's the kind of questions you're going to want to ask yourself, because those are what's important to the long run, and you're not going to be able to create a clear vision without that information. So really sit down and put your fantasy on paper and look how realistic it is, and then adjust based off of that. And you can even look up other people's marketing and business strategies online and compare notes and see if it's realistic. And you can even look up the marketing strategies and business strategies of people who have successful businesses and do really, really well in terms of this economy. So that's something you're going to want to do, because you're not going to be able to plan ahead unless you have an idea of what you even want. Because if you're like, I'm just doing this because it's fun, cool, that's great. You can totally start a business and do it because it's fun. But at a certain point, you're going to be like, what am I getting out of this anymore? And especially if you hit a rough patch and you're not making income, then it's not fun anymore. So you need to make a plan and a strategy, and you need to make exit strategies, and you need to make plan Bs and plan Cs, just so you cross all your T's and dot all your I's. That might just be because I'm an anxious person, but you know. And then the next point that I want to make is once you do have a clientele, you have a customer base, you're going to want to make sure that you keep that client loyalty. And it sounds so like cold and client loyalty, but in my case, this is, you know, making friends with your clients, like genuinely forming a connection with them. I have so many clients that I love to see during my clean, outside of my clean. I'm good friends with them. I care about them deeply, and that keeps me coming back to them and them coming back to me. It's a good strategy, but that, you know, it goes beyond that. Now I have great, wonderful friends who are lifelong buddies of mine. Additionally, other clients who maybe you're not as close with and you don't feel a close connection to, you can give them discounts. You can make sure that you fit them in the schedule even when it's a little bit more difficult or inconvenient for you. You can add little extra products in with their order. You can do little extra giveaways so that they can win certain prizes, and keep them engaged with your company. So there's so many different ways to engage with your clientele, but make sure that once you do have them, you have something that draws them back to you, and makes a connection, because ultimately, yeah, we live in a capitalist society and we need to make money, but on another scale, it's really important that we as human beings make informed connections with one another. And if there's anything that you get out of this business experience, it's that human connection. And you should never lose that human connection, because the second you lose that human connection, you're going to lose the essence of what makes a small business a small business. We're all in this together, really, and we're a community, and we should be holding each other up. Even if our clients can't help us out in terms of paying for and buying our services and products, we should still feel kindness and compassion to them, and that will continue to keep customer loyalty for years to come. So essentially, anything that you can do to make their life easier, they'll make your life easier. Or let's say you have a client and they're delightful and you love cleaning for them, but now they can't afford a cleaning. And you're like, dang, okay, well, I don't want to force them to buy a clean for me in my case. What you can do is ask that client, especially if they're homies with you or you've built up that trust and reliability with them, you can ask them, can you please give out some of my cards, or can you share my business on social media? Could you leave a rating for me? That's customer loyalty, and that's why it's so important, because in that case, your one client who was reliable before and is no longer reliable, you don't have to throttle them and threaten them to have a clean, or to have a service purchased, or to have a product purchased. They can get you 5 new clients by sharing and elaborating at how good your service is. So customer loyalty is super important, because it goes a long way in terms of an emotional and social scale, but also for your business in an economic scale. It really spreads out along a bigger umbrella of people. So that's the spider webbing effect, I think is what they call it for those business majors. Let me know if that's correct. I don't remember anything from college. But I know all my business major friends were like, spider webs, make connections. So that's essentially the customer loyalty thing. If you can bring them back time and time again for whatever reason, whether you're making a genuine human connection or you're just helping them out on a day-to-day basis and making it easy for them to do that, that's good. But if they're not able to purchase your service or your product anymore, as long as if they're on your side and they want to help you out, if you can show them a good time, they'll show you a good time. I don't know how else to elaborate that. I'm pretty layman in terms of speaking on this topic, because you gotta be a human behind the face of the small business, right? So I'm gonna get to my final point here, and that is the legality of starting your own business. When you do it as a sole proprietor, which is just you doing it, not registering your business, just you going out and doing things, there's a lot more steps and hoops you have to jump through, and you're not protected under the law. So you're gonna have to itemize all of the stuff. No matter what you do, you're gonna have to itemize all of the stuff, because you're being looked at by whatever tax service that you live under, whether it be the U.S., another country, your state. They're gonna find out. They're just gonna find out. So if you're making a crazy amount of money and you're not paying taxes on it, You're probably going to get audited within the next 7 years. It's just something you should keep an eye on. It makes it easier to itemize and hold on to that information when you have a registered business, just because you, under a registered business, are forced to have your own separate bank account, and that's your own separate entity. And you also register under that name, and your bank account would be under that name as well. The other good thing about having a registered business is that you have limited liability. So in my case, I'm Clean and Tidy LLC, limited liability company. It's really great because let's say I go into a customer's house and I knock over their TV when I'm cleaning, and I break their TV, and they go, "That's a $2,000 TV," and I go, "Oh no, I have to pay you $2,000. And then they go, no, that was my grandpa's $2,000 TV, and now I'm going to sue you." They can only sue you really for what your company owns. So you as an individual are protected. They're not going to take your house because you knocked over their TV kind of deal. So it's important. It's, to me, a very important step in starting your business, because it limits your liability and it also makes it easier to track your funds and do your taxes. And you can pay yourself very similarly to a company would pay you. You can set up weekly, daily, whatever, but make sure that you're paying yourself a percent so that you have a percent going to taxes. And talking to a tax professional will really help you with that. So I'm gonna get into that in my next video, but I wanted to just kind of go over the very basics of having a company and speaking on it in a layman's kind of way. Not that anyone here is a layman. We're all just people out here trying to do our best. So, yeah, I'm no professional, but I am a professional cleaner. So, well, I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please let me know in the comments. If it wasn't helpful, let me know also. And I would love some constructive criticism, because I'm not super sure how to format these videos. I know a lot of people have requested them from me, but I'm not entirely sure how to make them. If you have any kind of questions or comments, leave them down below. If you have any suggestions or advice for other people who are looking to start a business and you already have a business and you know what to do, leave a comment down below. That's really helpful. And I will get into the first steps of creating a legal entity as your business in the next video. So I hope to see you then. Thank you again so much for joining me today, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to see you more often, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!